Okay, so now we checked over our spreadsheet and we've seen that we got everything in order. We've got any unnecessary columns taken out, and we made sure that that header row is in row number 1 on the spreadsheet. So let's open up the software and go through how to process a file. And open up the software here, and you'll notice that the software uses something called macros, and those can be a security risk if you get a macro from an unknown source. So most of the time your guys' Excel will have macros disabled. So what you're going to do is in Excel 2007 you're going to click Options and Enable the Content. If you have Excel 2003, instructions should show on your screen as well how to enable macros. It's just a simple little step like that. Okay. We have a login screen here, and the username is Rick and the password is Dawson. It's already filled in. Just leave it alone and log in. Now we're going to locate our file that we want to process by clicking the Browse button, and I've got mine on the desktop right here, and we're going to open it and submit. It shows us that it's got 11,098 records loaded. So now we just need to show the software where the columns are so that it can do all the processing for us. First thing, we need to give it all the field names that contain the mailing address. So here's a list of the field names, and here's some sample content to help us pick them. First thing we need is the mailing address, and I see there's 3 of them. So let's click on each one, click the arrow, and they move over. Select field names containing owner's name. I see owner name 1, owner name 2. Let's move those over. And we'll click Submit for the next step. Select field name containing parcel number. I see parcel ID right up here. Now select it. We need to know if the owner names are sorted as first name, last name order, or if they have the last name listed first. So I'm looking up here at this sample owner name here, and in this case it's kind of hard to tell, but it is last name first and first name after that. If you look at some of these other examples, you see Goldbach Robert here. So the last name is listed first, then the first name, and that is the default option. So we're going to click that we check that out. And if it was first name, last name, we would have clicked this button right here. So we're going to submit. Select the field name containing the total assessed value. Okay, and I'm going to guess, we got one here for assessed value and market value is really what we want. So we're going to click that one. Now, if you don't have a total value listed there, but you have a land value and an improved value, then just click on both of those and move them over, and the software will add those for you to come up with the total. But don't move the total and the land and the improved, or it'll make everything double what it should be. So we're going to submit that. Now we're going to enter the minimum value for a property that we want to leave. So let's do 20,000, and the maximum value that we want is 100,000. So it's going to get rid of all of the properties outside that range. That's a pretty good range a lot of times to go after properties in. So we'll submit and confirm. Select the field name containing the amount of outstanding taxes, and I see total amount here with an amount. Move it over, submit. Now this screen will allow us to eliminate properties where the taxes owed are more than a certain percentage of the property's value. So if we don't want any properties where over a third of their value is owed in taxes, then we would put 33 right here. Or if we don't want any properties that more than 10% of their value is owed in taxes, we'd put 10. Okay, if you don't want it to do this step for you, just put 100 and it won't check for you for that. That's what I want to do here. And we'll confirm on that checkbox, click Submit. Confirm once again, and it's ready to go. We're gonna click here and push the start button, and you'll see there are status bars on the screen that show you what it's doing and how far along it is. The reason we put those on there is if you're going to run a big list through here, like 25,000 or 50,000, and there's a lot of columns, this could easily take a half hour, 45 minutes to process, especially if you don't have a very fast computer. And even for this list that we just did that had 11,000, you could see that this is going to take a little while. So I'm going to pause the recording now until it's done processing, and then we'll look at what we got. Okay, so the processing's almost done, as you can see, but the software is going to need to know one last thing, and that is what county are these properties in that we are sorting or that we are processing, because it's going to give us the out-of-county owners in a minute. So this happens to be Clermont County. We're going to select that and put this is my county, and it will quickly finish up. Now you can either process another file by clicking this Let's Do That Again button, or show me what we did. Let's do that. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, we have 5 different worksheets now here. We have local owners who are in Clermont County and have a property, and their addresses are all nice and separated out now. We have duplicates. Here's all the people that owned many properties, and we wanted to consolidate them down. So if you need to get to any of these records, they're all right in here. Okay, so there's quite a few. That list of 11,000, 6,000 of them were actually duplicate properties, duplicate owners. Okay, we have an address error here. A lot of times the county just doesn't have the right information for the address. They don't put the state in correctly, or they don't list the zip code or something like that. So those will fall into this, and you can manually process these if you want, but out of 11,000 there's only 184 like that, so it's not a big deal. I also like to take out the company names, and more than likely I'm not going to mark it to them. There's 119 company names in there. And finally we got the very best one, the absentee owners. 304 of those owners live outside of Clermont County, Ohio, yet they have a tax delinquent property. In fact, many of them have several. Look, the additional parcels are listed here besides the primary one, and some of these guys have 5, 10, 20 properties. Really good segment of the list right here. So you're pretty much ready to go to mail. You've got the name, address, city, state, zip, and you're good to go.